Alright folks, good evening, how we doing? It's me, Scotty at Scotty Talks MUFC. How are we this evening? Some of us will be watching Champions League football. Some of us will just be spending time with me, hopefully. Now, this is a community that I want to build, and I want to build with you people out there. So let's share your comments, share your views and likes, and let's make this a community. Now, I'm only good if you people like me. If you don't like me, please let me know in the comments. But for the foreseeable, I plan to carry this on, and I hope I grow. Today's only my third ever video. And to be fair, I've not had a bad comment yet, so thank you very much to the community. But if you like what you see, please share a like, tell your friends, tell your family. Come and join the mad one, the Scottish one. Yeah, that's right, that's me, Scotty from Scotty Talks. Thank you for having me. And thank you for watching me, whether it's live, whether it's in your own time. But thanks all the same. Now, this was just going to be a very quick video because I've got a few things to wrap up for a birthday party we've got to go to tomorrow. So sadly, today's the death anniversary of Sir Bobby Charlton. So I'm going to say my piece on Bobby Charlton. While we're talking about Bobby Charlton, it's ironic that I'm going to speak about our midfield in general briefly. Apologies for my son running down in the background. Yep. He did say he was going to do that, but I didn't think he would do it. But never mind, we are where we are. Midfield. Yes. I don't know if anyone's seen it or heard it. There's been a lot of gossip earlier that United are going to buy a right wing back, whether it's on loan or buy, that no one knows. To be fair, it's going to be on loan because unless Sir Jim puts his hand in his pocket, how can we buy a player? We've got no money. Unless we're selling anyone. So unless they're planning to sell in Kobe, where are they going to get the money from? So they're looking at a possible loan deal for a couple of players. Where if we did have the money or loan, who would I go and get for a midfield to take us to the next step and take us to hopefully Champions League football come the summer? Now, Sir Bobby Charlton, there is nothing I can say about this man that's not already been said before. Now, the word legend, Captain Fantastic and things like that gets issued about too cheaply these days. I'll give you a perfect example. On one hand, you've got Sir Bobby Charlton. And on the other hand, you've got our captain of today, Bruno Fernandes. Now, these two people cannot be mentioned in the same breath. Just not in any way. You had Bobby Charlton, who was a United fan through and through. He joined us when I think he was 15. Came up, moved up from North. Not as North as me, but from North. And that was it. He stayed at that one club all his life, all his playing days. He made the most appearances. Well, he made the most appearances until Ryan Giggs' 2008 Champions League final appearance, which turned out to be the winning penalty from Man United. Actually, Giggs' one, wasn't it? Before Anelka missed. Yeah, that was the night Giggsy broke his record. What a player to break his record! And even then, I still remember watching Ryan Giggs when one of the news reporters, one of the commentators said to him, "Congratulations on breaking Sir Bobby's record," and he says, "Please don't. I'm half the player he was." This is Ryan Giggs, the most decorative football player in English history. And he's turned around and said, "Please don't. You can't compare me to Sir Bobby." And this is a man who's part of the Busby Babes. And he lost a lot of his comrades, his teammates, who would have dominated by a mile. Everyone knows this. Now, I know that if the young ones who are watching today, they're not aware of this, please read on our history, especially on the Busby Babes, where it started from, what happened and how they rose from the ruins, and how in time Bobby Charlton took his team to the champion. Well, it was called European Cup in them days, and we became, when I say we Man United became the first English club to win the the European Cup, which is now known as Champions League. So if I say Champions League, European Cup, you know what I mean. It's the same trophy, just it's been renamed. So Bobby Charlton was the first English captain, English team that won it. Well, as Man United, I'm sure the year before Celtic won it as part of the Lisbon Lions, but don't quote me on that. But yeah, anyway, Bobby Charlton, legend. Now, comparing what he did, now there's a man, when they need to dug deep, he never labelled and shouted at his teammates. Yeah, he cajoled them. He obviously wanted them to play better. Now, I've not seen him play live. I'm just going off what people who watched him in his prime, and also I've seen videos from the archive. Now, this was a man, in my generation, the closest player who was like that was probably Roy Keane, who dug in and carried his team and still played his A game pretty much every game. And that's what Sir Bobby did, game after game. And you got to remember, the pitches are not like they are today. Today's pitches are flush carpets. Back then, it was just sand. There was no virtually grass on it. It was in the balls. The balls were like boulders. And this man used to have a rocket-like shot. And it goes to show, a lot of his goals, I mean, I don't think I've seen a goal of Bobby Charlton inside the box yet. Through all the things that I've seen, and there's loads of memorabilia, but I do not recall seeing a shot or saying that he's got a header. Yeah, I've seen a header or two, yep. So forget the headers, I'm talking about long distance shots. And the closest I've seen to that in modern day was probably Paul Scholes, who had a rocket-like shot as well, and he could pass, he could play. Paul Scholes, what a player, but he's still not in the same league as Bobby Charlton. Now, I'm not saying that. This is Paul Scholes saying it. He goes, please don't mention me in the same bracket. Now, he was a proper player. This is coming from Paul Scholes, saying Sir Bobby was a proper player. Now, his loyalty was never questioned because, like I said, he was at one-man club. He played his whole life at Man United. He was the life and soul. Now, he won the Ballon d'Or, but I don't know if was it after the World Cup or was it after United winning the European Cup that he got the Ballon d'Or. He won it once. I don't know if he was the first British player to win it at that time, but he did it. And he was just, wherever he played, whether it was striker, attacker, midfielder, this guy could score goals. He finished up with 249 goals. That's unreal. He's played 758 games for United and he scored 249 goals. Now, for bloody hell, in them days, they were tackling. Nowadays, if Bobby Charlton tackled someone, Nobby Stiles tackled someone today, God, they've been in hospital for 6 months. And the likes of George Best and Dennis Law and Bobby Charlton, our Holy Trinity, they used to dance through players. And this is when they were getting their legs broken, ankles kicked every weekend. And they went on to achieve such greatness. I used to see him at the stadium. I still walked out to Old Trafford. I walked down St Maplesby Way and walked past the statue, and it's just nostalgic. It's absolutely, and even every time you bumped into him or you seen him at Old Trafford, he was always smiling. Always, he always had the ambassador's badge on his jacket. Always, the tie, always professional. Such a man. I can't speak. Honestly. They just don't make them like that anymore. They just don't, and it's a shame. He's gone. It's been 3 years already. It seems like it was yesterday. And how United could do with a player like that right now. He single-handedly would walk straight into that team, be the best player in that team. And I tell you what, if Bruno was doing what Bruno does, he'd just take one kick and that'd be the end of Bruno. And that's what proper captains are made of. Not this show pony we've got. Who only sings when we're winning, and in big games he goes missing. Again, even on Sunday he was the invisible man. Everyone's going on about this cross that he made. Jesus Christ, get over it. It was just that was not meant for Harry Maguire. He just put a hopeful punt into the box, and he was lucky Harry got in the back of it. Time and time again, this guy, honestly, I just don't. Everyone says he's the saviour. Please, XGs. Stats, useless, worthless. I mean, if there were stats in all this the kind of nonsense that's around now, XGs and whatnot, Bobby Charlton would have been off this. He would have been off the Richter scale. Never mind anything else. This guy was a proper baller in his time. In any generation, he would have been a baller. I seen a stat. I'm not comparing Sir Bobby to Bruno because you just can't. You just can't do that. But I seen a stat not very long ago that Bruno Fernandes has scored like 100 goals, or he's got 100 goal involvements in 200 odd games, and his XG's better than. They compare him to Paul Scholes. Now, please. This is where it's going mad. Paul Scholes. Paul Scholes. Yes, Paul Scholes. I've never seen a player since Paul Scholes to do what Paul Scholes did. And to sum it up, the greats, Zidane, Henry, they all talk. Xavi, Iniesta, to Paul Scholes was the player. So to say Bruno Fernandes is a better player, or he's got more XGs and all this kind of stuff, Paul Scholes didn't take penalties. If he did, he would be almost same goal record as Alan Shearer. I can guarantee it. But he didn't take penalties. And he says he used to mock. He took the odd penalty when no one else was around on the pitch. But he did not take penalties. And like I said, he used to mock people taking penalties. He said, I don't need to boost my goal tally. I'll do my talking with my feet playing football. I don't need that. So, and Bruno's figures are skewed because how many penalties he's taken? Yeah, he's missed a few, but he's taken a lot more than he's missed. Okay, he scored them. A good chunk of them. But that doesn't make you a player. It's just skewed. Absolutely skewed. Now we're looking at... So I'm not going to compare anyone to Sir Bobby Charlton, but Sir Bobby Charlton was a master. God rest his soul. And we'll be... I want all the fans, all the community out there to do a little prayer for him as well. May he be heavily with the angels, enjoying himself with the Holy Trinity up there as well. Now, moving on to the current news that's regarding the midfield player. Now, I'm seeing who we're getting linked to, and I'm sorry, the only player we should be getting linked to is Baleba. Why? Because he's been playing in the Premiership, he's used to it. Now, why waste money and time on anyone else when you have a young player who could be at United for the next 10 years? Now, I'm sure I've mentioned in a different video that he's the closest thing I've seen to Paul Ince. Now, Paul Ince was a sensational player for United. Yeah, he lost it by going to Liverpool, but I won't go on about that. But that does not take away how good Paul Scholes and the impact Paul Scholes had in this team. Before Roy Keane came, and he played alongside he just came in, fitted in next to Brian Robson, and he was fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And it was pretty much more or less at the time I started watching United a bit more. Like I said, we didn't really get English football up in Scotland. We only got the European games, odd European games. I come out watching the Champions League final, not the Champions League, when we beat Barcelona 2-1 in Rotterdam. Or the Ajax Stadium, I can't remember, but it was 1991 anyway. We and Sparky got the 2 goals. But Paul Ince, what a player. Now Baleba could have that same impact. And you've got 2 players at the prime of their careers, because Kobe's only 20, or he's almost 20. Now that's the midfield set for the next 10 years. And could you imagine if you picked up Watson as well? In the summer. Now you've got the money, or we should be digging deep to get them, because that midfield 3 would be dynamic. It absolutely would. And even if it wasn't, it would definitely be one of the best in the Premiership, if not in Europe. You've got youth, pace, power, dynamism and guile as well. And if you had to change your formation, then so be it. You can't... I'm sorry, I've said this before as well. You can't let a manager come and dictate the formation he plays. He has to be more flexible. Now, if you had the opportunity to buy the quality of Baleba and Wharton, you take the opportunity. Absolutely. I mean, we've got Casemiro who's going, and hopefully going in the summer. Bruno, hopefully, is going. So you need 2 midfielders. Who are you left with? You're left with Kobe and Ugarte. No, I'm sorry, Kobe can't do it all on his own. He needs help, and Ugarte's not the answer. Now we're getting linked to this German kid, Stiller. Given we've just seen Fabian Wirtz come in for, I think it was 120 million. It was a lot of money anyway. He's not hit the ground running. He's been here since the summer. Now, I'm actually worried because this Stiller is built in a similar frame to Fabian. Now, I don't think Fabian just looks too lightweight. So until he puts some muscle on and gets some bite in him, I think he might struggle. And I don't want to spend more money on a midfielder that doesn't really want to come to United anyway, where at least Baleba's actually said he wants to be a Baleba. He wants to be a United player. That's good enough for me. Why can't we make it happen and forget this Stiller? This kid's not even pro in the Premier League. Baleba is. Yeah, he's had a stinker so far, but I'm not bothered. He's a young kid, and at that age. Ronaldo wasn't prime Ronaldo at 20. Ronaldo was ridiculous at 20. The only player I've seen in their prime when they arrived and ready was Rooney. He was ready at 18. And it took Ronaldo 4 years to catch up to him. 4 years. So please, and Baleba's only 21 or 22. He's a kid. He's prone to make mistakes. But he's only learning and he's going to get better. But God, this guy can move. And he burst past player like they're not even there. We just need a manager to go and do his job, and we need the board to go and put their hands in the pocket. Or, like I said on my feed last night, we need new owners. If these owners can't put their hands in the pocket, then please step aside, let someone who can. Now, this was just going to be a very quick 20 minutes on talking about the midfield, and I wanted to say something about Sir Bobby, just because it's Sir Bobby and it's an emotional day for all us United fans. Sir Bobby, peace and love. And just before I check out, thanks for watching. Please bear with me. It's still a learning program. I'm still getting used to the camera. I keep getting shouted at by my team saying you're not looking, you're looking elsewhere. It's just because I'm not used to sitting in front of a camera. I've always been camera shy, and I'm camera shy now. So once I feel comfortable in this, doing this, and the community grows, and they tell me how I can grow, and they tell me what you want me to talk about, I'll look into it. And I'm sure, why not? We can have a subject. We can have a debate. We can discuss things. Move it forward. And if you like what you see, please tell your friends and family and give me a share and follow. Now, I can only do this if you guys are out there wanting me to do this. If there's no value to what I'm saying, then I think I should just pack up and go and stack. Not that there's anything wrong with it, go and stack shelves in Sainsbury's. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, it's an honest job. But I'm liking what I'm doing, even though it's what day am I on? I think I'm on day 3. I've enjoyed every single day. All day I've been buzzing, thinking what am I going to talk about tonight, and then obviously it's Sir Bobby's thing, so it was quite easy today. But tomorrow's a new day. I don't know what's on tomorrow and what I'm going to talk about tomorrow, but so that's an interesting thing. So I'll deal with that when tomorrow comes. But if you would like me to talk about anything in particular, or there's something you want to get off your chest, and you want, provided it's related to football and it's related to Man United, I'm open to suggestions. Drop it in the comments. And please share the word. Scotty, it's happening here at Scotty's Talk MUFC. Now, thanks very much for watching. Have a good night. I'll see you soon. Take care. Good night.